Oh, welcome to I Don't Make This Stuff Up. Today I'm here with JD McGibney and myself, Thomas J. Bellezza. Though the show. Oh, can you hear me? Oh, Jesus. I thought I'd be ready by now. Well, who's doing what? I don't know. I feel a little nervous. Let's get everything saved up. Let's see comments. Let's put a comment up there, huh? We're going to do the comment. All right. Let's see. Yeah. What movies, comedians, actors, television shows? What the television shows? Or bands slash music. Are you surprised? Funny. Oh, there you go. Boom. How's it sound? Good? The quality is it's tight. Yeah, that's pretty cool. All right. That's cool. You good? All right. Let me get this recording going over here. Boom. Let's see. Split stereo to mono. Boom. There you go. We're in. TJB. 10, 25, 20. This will be JD. JD. 10, 25, 20. What happened today? Oh, Jesus. You're doing one of these things? Ah, I dropped my phone. Let's start over. Oh, you didn't stop it? Normally you stop it when I do something. I don't know. Where is it? I don't see it. All right, JD being JD. He's adding value to the show by ruining it. No, I'm just kidding. He's doing great. We love JD. See, I just have to stand here. Yeah, that's right. JD needs to sit there and act pretty. All right. Jamie, JD. Oh, woohoo, it's working. Look at that. We could show that. Woohoo, it's working. How is JD commenting and JD standing here? It's techno. Did you shut it off or you left it on? Oh, all right. Well, we have one viewer. All right. So today's show of I Don't Make This Stuff Up, we at BBR Productions, bringing reality to your dreams, are posing the question, basically. Our topic is, how the hell did this crap make money when crap multimedia sells? And ultimately, we're asking, what movies, comedians, actors, television shows, or bands slash music are you surprised made a lot of money? We would love to see your questions in the comments below. Feel free to add and subtract as you need. We're doing the live show on YouTube, which does get cut down and shrunk when we finally do an edited episode, both with audio and when we put up the episode in the series.
And then we actually have a little bit of some extra tidbits that we throw up on the little pop-up screens.
Yeah, nice. Tidbit knowledges. We go a little deeper into the subject matter we're talking. You could read. It's sort of like pop-up videos from the VH1 days, except there's very much to no music because there's zero music.
Except when you and I just sing like this.
We sing once again with me. I'm having a stroke.
Genius.
Of genius. All right. But anyway, so the live show, the reason we do this and we talk about it all the time is you get a little extra something. You get to watch us before we actually start the show. If you want to ask some questions about the subject matter, we could talk about that during the show. And as you can see, your name will go up and you'll be on the episode. Bibbidi-bobbidi-boo.
Though we set up a little early today before the pre-stream because we're trying out some new gear.
That's right. If you notice, the volume is really nice. Ooh. Can you hear the mic?
I can hear the mic.
I'm talking to the audience.
Oh.
Do you hear my sexy voice? Ooh. Do you hear how deep I can get? I'm just saying, it's not the room now. You actually get to hear us. JD figured that out and worked it out, and we made it happen.
And by JD, he means himself.
That's right. Now, JD came up with the idea of letting me figure it out.
See? Genius.
1 second.
I'll give you 2 seconds because I like you.
One second.
Do-do-do-do-do. There's a lot of cables on this table.
You're a Cable.
I mean, sometimes I would totally be Cable. He seems like a pretty cool character.
Who is Cable?
You know, from the X-Men.
I don't know. Someone's watching, but they're not talking.
Cable's from the future.
Who?
The character of Cable from X-Men?
Cable is actually from an alternate future.
Ooh.
If I remember.
Fancy.
Yeah.
He's got a laser gun. He's got a scar in his eyeball.
Yeah. 1 second.
I'll give you 2 seconds.
Yeah, why don't you talk while I'm doing this so there's no dead air?
Oh, wow. When this one time that I was talking, I said a lot of very silly things, and then Thomas was like, JD, your speaking privileges are revoked. Kind of like right now.
I know. I'm like, can you keep the audience entertained? He's like, yeah, sure.
Hey, guys.
So, like, you know.
Flamingos are pink.
That is not true. They are white.
They just have a lot of, was it shrimp in their diet?
That's right. They eat the shrimp, and then the shrimp turns them pink.
Ooh.
What was I going to say? I was going to say something. I was going to look something up.
Does it have to do with Snakes on a Plane? Because please, that
Oh
would
my
just make
God.
my day.
Snakes on a Plane was a successful film.
That movie is amazing.
Yeah, so it's not a crap film. It does not belong in this category just because, you know. When you see me drinking, you shouldn't drink. You should talk. Radio, they can't see us all the time.
I mean, if they use their
I got to cut it all out.
Listen, if they're using their imaginations on the radio, they can see us, especially if they have their third eye.
On the Wings of Radio?
You know what? That sounds like a really good
Let's make that
show. On the Wings of Radio.
On the Wings of Radio. Anyway, so today we decided there's a reason we're going to be talking about what we're talking about today, and it's a mixture based on us proving our theory, and also I teach this because people are always saying, you know, I'm amazing, awesome, unique, and all I have to do is make my product. I need to film my movie or make an album, or I have to just
practice my craft
and become the funniest comedian, whatever the case may be, or become the most fantastic actor. And I always say to them, I go, none of that matters. That's all inconsequential. It's because that's just what you bring to the table, but that's not why people are interested in you. No one buys your stuff because you made it. There's no way that's ever going to happen. If that was the case, everything ever invented would be selling, but that's
just
not
because
how
it was invented.
Yeah, because someone's like, oh, you invented it? Everyone's going to buy it. Even if it's the greatest thing in the world, the greatest widget, people don't buy it because it's great. They don't even know it's great. In fact, it could be the worst, which is our topic today. And people are like, I love the brand. I love what the brand stands for. I believe in this person or people or company. So I'm going to purchase their stuff, like Apple stuff. Anyway, so bang.
It'd be really funny if after this, we get an Apple sponsorship.
Look, I'll take an Apple sponsorship. I have no problem. I'm allergic to apples, but I'll definitely take the sponsorship. I just don't use their products.
What's awesome is that you can be allergic to apples, but I am not. So I will use the Apple products, and you can continue to not die from Apple.
Yeah. I'll use these crappy Android products that work perfectly. Did you know that we'll happily take an Apple product placement or Diet Pepsi? Can we get some Diet Pepsi in here? Thanks. Anyway, I was gonna look something up. Anyway, let's just talk about what we're talking about. Oh, yeah. So before we get into the show, before we start it with our whole like, hey, I'm money, JD over here decided to work out. And he found this really great website. Now, JD, what does this website entail? It doesn't. Obviously, it has magic on it, right?
It does have magic.
What are you talking about? Wait, get into this.
If I remember correctly, it's called Derby.
Yeah.
And basically, it has a whole bunch of exercise routines, and they have either like small groups, or you can have like a full like 30-day, 60-day, 90-day plan
to get your muscles going.
Yeah, and then
you can cast spells.
That is one thing to get the nerdy people.
So you're working out
like myself
to be a wizard.
Exactly.
A wizard. How does being a wizard help your muscles?
It doesn't help the muscles.
That's right. All right. So moving on to this topic at hand today. So we're gonna talk about how did this crap even become successful? Like, why did someone buy or see? Like when a movie does really well, and they're like, how did this movie get? Or why is that actor on TV? Or have you ever listened to the radio and you're just thinking to yourself, oh my God, this song is terrible. How did it get on? So that's what we're going to talk about today. But the reason we bring it up is because we're doing a festival right now. We're not going
We
to
are.
talk about any of the products that are on. I call it products because that's what they are. Film is a product. We're going to talk about what the purpose of the festival is, and basically, the festival you win. What's going on with my mic
I
stand?
think you broke it.
And I fixed it.
Oh, who?
So the festival itself. Well, let's put this back up. We just want people to. How the
Ooh.
hell did this crap? You know,
How does this?
yeah, we
how,
don't do that. Okay.
how does it?
How does it?
How done did it do it?
Who?
What?
Who?
Bob?
Let's go to the
Steve?
banners. Let's
Greg?
go to banners. Boop.
Ooh.
We'll put the small one up.
David Banner?
David Banner.
Bruce Banner.
Bruce Banner. Anyway, so we're doing a festival, and part of the festival has to do with brand value, marketing, and like seeing how their team works and stuff like that. We're not going to say how they win the festival because that might inspire them to just focus on the thing that they're supposed to be doing, which we don't want to do.
That they have been supposedly doing for 30 days.
Yeah, they've been doing it. Well, 25 days.
Almost 30 days.
No, almost 30 days. However, we're also doing an award ceremony. So on the 30th, which is this, well, when you hear this, it'll be tomorrow.
Well,
Because
supposedly,
you'll
if
hear
you
this on Thursday.
If you hear this the day that it goes up, it'll be tomorrow.
Oh,
But
yeah,
if you hear
yeah.
it afterwards, it'll probably be over
Yeah, you're probably, yeah. This is
missed out.
this is for 2020. So if you hear this,
in 5 years.
you're like, well, I've been watching the 30th for several months and I have not seen this award. And you're like, oh yeah. Anyway, so basically what we're talking about is did you know herpes? No, okay. So
Funny story.
the awards, believe it or not, are being, there's 10 judges, okay? And then we're all basically rating the movie on categories, you know, director, best writer, cinematographer, editor, casting, sound, score, and then of course the performances, right? So
We got the leads, we got the supportings.
yeah, the leads and supporting. And the way it works is basically every judge votes a 1, 5, or a 10. One being that they did the bare minimum. They were just like,
They made it.
yeah,
They made the film.
they weren't. They
You got a point for participating.
yeah, and they were good enough to be there, but you know, they didn't put anything extra into it.
You got the one because you were on set.
Yeah. Oh, look, you showed up. One. You know,
5 is like, oh, this is really good.
yeah. 5 was like, oh, I'm enjoying this. You know, I
Well
love
done.
what's
Gulp
going on. Yeah. Right, but a 10 is like you got to keep an eye out on this person.
Like this person is definitely the next Marlon Brando.
Yeah,
Scorsese,
or Scorsese or whatever. You know,
John Travolta.
John Travolta as a cinematographer, which would be a 1. Anyway, by the way, a 1 doesn't mean you suck. It just means, you know, you just showed up for the day for a paycheck, right?
Which is definitely a lot more than a lot of people.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, the majority of people just want to be seen on camera and they don't even care. So then we basically take up all the categories and
All the numbers from the judges.
all the numbers from the judges, and it's averaged out, and that's how you get the best film. So you know, whatever the case may be.
Yeah. Well, best film gets like the best overall score from like everybody added together.
Yeah, exactly. But the film festival itself, the victory is based on something completely different. The awards is sort of just the accolades for like our acknowledging how good these short films are. And believe it or not, they've been getting a lot of good praise. You know, obviously we picked some good films for our first annual BBR short film festival.
Yeah, and there's definitely a lot of diversity too, which I think adds to it. You know,
Yeah.
Honestly, like when we first came up with the idea, I was kind of just expecting a lot of the, you know, black and white hiding under a table, like artsy
Oh
films.
God, yeah. Yeah. This is my first. There was only 2 black and whites,
Yeah.
which is a stereotype.
but
But
they're really
that's
good.
an independent thing. They are really good.
And definitely not hiding under the table kind of
Yeah.
independent things. But yeah, no, like we definitely have like a collection of like, you know, every genre, I think. Which, you know, again, I was very pleasantly surprised at.
Yeah, and what's nice is one of the movies gave jobs to cavemen because after the Geico commercials vanished,
Oh, yeah,
they had no work.
So cheers to those guys.
Speaking of a good movie, right? Anyway, so
They got big feet.
what we noticed, and I knew was going to happen, is the quality of a film was not going to necessarily equate to the success of a film.
Mm-hmm.
So quality doesn't make money as much as you know, whatever the case may be. But I will say this though, quality will maintain longevity. So
That is true.
BBR Productions talks about the 5 sides of a triangle. You have the 3 needs of success, the 3 needs of longevity, the 3 needs of purpose, 8 assets of life, and then of course treat your life like a business. The 3 needs of success, basically we define success as making a living within your field of interest. A living is not a lifestyle. It's a living on a budget of an overhead. Anyway, in the 3 needs of success, you have network, market, practice, which is networking is building and cultivating relationships. Marketing is all about branding and stuff like that. But practice is learning a craft, right? Now, the reason it's practice,
and that's not just your artistic craft; it's everything else that is involved with running your life like a business as well.
Yeah. It's like learning your industry, et cetera, et cetera. But what I'm getting to is practice. If you notice, it isn't saying like, hey, you got to rely on your abilities. Practice is you're learning. But you need to be in your field of interest. You need to be networking, marketing, and practicing within your field of interest.
And practicing too, which I think needs to be pointed out, is if you don't necessarily have the skills, it encourages you to learn and build those skills.
That's correct, because you should be looking at your strengths and weaknesses. Correct. But the 3 needs of longevity is management, broken down into time, money, and people. And then it's entrepreneurial brain, which is ultimately finding solutions and thinking outside the box. And then the third thing in the 3 needs of longevity is talent. Now, talent doesn't necessarily mean just your craft, but it means what do you bring to the table? What are your pros? What is the value? What is it you can add to any situation? Can you be a great leader while also being able to follow directions? But a part of that is also your craft. So practice is you have to at least know how to play the game when you get called up. Talent is you have something and you're continuing to grow that something and you're just getting better and better. Like Marlon Brando, his first time on screen is nothing compared to, like, say,
Godfather,
right? So even though his first time on screen blew people away, they're just like, who is this guy, right? He started in theater and everything. But
he did.
And
he drove people crazy.
Most people did, because it was that time, they were just like, who? But that's why to become successful, which is ultimately making a living within your field of interest, you don't necessarily need to be the master of what you do. You just need to build those relationships. People need to know about you, and you need to really just know how to do what you do. By the time you get to a certain point, which is usually the 3rd year of your career, you need to be creating that longevity by then. And that longevity is based on what are you bringing to the table.
Well, this morning I brought the interface to the table.
You know what I love about skipping over that? I'm just kidding. I wasn't even here listening. No. What did you say? One second. Hey, can you figure out who that was? All right.
Who let you in?
Who was? Where's my manager? Anyway, that's very, yes. You brought the auto box all the way from the other room to here.
It's my contribution for the day. And I made the tea.
Yeah, you did make the tea. Well, he didn't make the tea. He
I put the water into the cup.
Yeah,
and then put the tea back
into the cup.
He didn't
heat the water up. Let's just put that out there.
I mean, I sat on it for a really long time.
He did. It tastes like balls. So,
what you bring to the table.
So, what you bring to the table. So, what I'm getting at is that these films and anything else in the world, when you're like, how did this crap become successful? The better films that are getting there's probably 6 of the 10 films that even got nominations, and I would say only 3 of those 6 really dominated the nominations. Because they're quality film. You can see that they put time, money, and they put a lot of people into it, which, by the way, is a part of longevity, is the management of time, money and people. So they were able to manage that money. They were able to manage the people and the time to make that product. But then again, you're also saying, are those films in the running? And, that's what the 30th and the 31st is going to show. On the 30th, you're going to see what movies got the awards. And on the 31st, you're going to see what movie won the festival. Oh, actually, on the 1st, November 1st, you're going to see what movie.
Because the 31st is that extra day.
Yeah, you get that one extra day. And what we're trying to do is, like, the awards are sort of like a way of saying, hey, look, you got one more day. If you like some of these movies, check them out. Let us know what you think, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it is proving a point, which is that to become successful, you don't need to necessarily be a master at your craft yet, but also to maintain longevity, you do. And that's the problem. Some of these films that have great quality to them, that's where they're trying to start with. Let's start with the best. And the thing is, no one knows who they are.
Because no one's connected to them as people. So why do they care about what it is that they're making?
Correct. All right. Now, with that said, though, we basically summed up what the show is going to be about. And I want to kind of get into that. So let's start the show. Let's get ready to go. We've only been doing this for 20 minutes, but I'm ready to start. What about you?
I'm ready to start.
I almost feel like we started though, because I did do the announcement. You just weren't on the screen yet.
We totally started.
Yeah, let's just continue.
Hi, I'm JD. For those who
oh my God,
weren't paying attention,
it's always about you.
Hi, I'm Bob.
Hey, Bob. By the way, check out BBRProductions.com. You can find your greatest, the best shoes there, right? We have good shoes. Oh, wait, we don't have shoes.
Thebestshoes.com.
Bestshoes.com, trademark. No, BBR Productions, we consult, market, and develop. And, the festival we're talking about right now, the winner of the festival, based on the rules, not the acclimates of the awards, will get a development deal. Now, there's a reason we're doing that, because we're not looking for the greatest. We're looking for something very specific, 3 very specific things in our clients, because investors don't care how good your quality is. They don't care what your product is bringing to the table. They don't, not in the beginning. What they care about is dollars and cents. Why? Because they're investing in you.
Yeah, they're giving, X amount of dollars into your project or multiple projects, and they're like, I want to make sure that I'm going to at least recoup what I'm putting back in and make a profit.
Because no stock investor is going to be like, a stockbroker is going to be like, hey, look, what a great product you got there, but what's the return? And it's like, oh yeah, but there is no return. It's a really great product. And you're like, well, I can't put any money into that because I need to see the growth. I need to see I
need to make my money back that I'm, investing into your product.
Yeah, it's called investing. It's not called here's my money.
I believe that's called gambling.
Yeah, it is gambling. No, investors don't really like to gamble. They like to know that there's a greater chance of return. In fact, most investors, if they know that there's like a 50 or 40% chance they're going to get their money back, they're probably going to bet on you as a person if they have a good, strong relationship with you. If they don't have a good, strong relationship with you, they're probably not going to invest in you if you don't have the proof of showing a return, even as a band, a comedian, an actor, a filmmaker, whatever. Because they're saying to themselves, if I give you, say, $50,000, if I have the money to throw away and I want to see where you can go with this in our relationship, and you basically bring them back 3/4 of that money, that's a good start with an investor. But ultimately, a great relationship is the investor is looking at you and they go, all right, what's your how well have you done? What's your results over the years? And they're like, if I give you $50,000, how many times have you returned that $50,000 in what you've done? And if you're like, well, we haven't, this is our first project,
they're gonna be like,
yeah, you might want to start with $10,000 and be like, hey, let's do a $10,000 movie. Even if you got 5 investors doing $10,000 each, they're gonna be like, wait, well, how much have you made? This is a $50,000 movie. You got 5 investors, each giving $10,000. We're getting basically an even 5 split, which means any money the movie earns, depending on your deal, if it's gross or net. But let's just say, it's just gross. Just to simplify, if you make back, let's say $50,000, then all the investors are going to get their $10,000. But if you only make back $20,000, that's divided by 5. Or let's just say you make $25,000. They each only got $5,000 back.
So they all lost.
They lost
$5,000.
They didn't make 3/4 of their money back. They only made 50% of their money back.
And they're like, that's not a good investment.
Yeah. So, when I deal with a lot of my clients, especially producers and friends, when they're like, what do you think of this idea? I'm like, well, I think your movie's too expensive. And they're like, why? I was like, how many times have you made that kind of money back on a film? Well, we haven't. All right. Well, what do you do with the film? We put it in festivals. All right. What do you do with the festival? Well, it's good for marketing. All right, but what do you do with the festivals? Do you get people interested? Do you call people? Do you reach out to people? Do you build relationships before your movie is even done? Do you let people know you exist as a producer? Are you building and cultivating those relationships? Or are you like, hey, I have this great movie.
Like everyone else.
Now it's done, so I'm going to ask you to see it. Well, why should I see it? I don't know who you are. That's like spending $100 to see an agent.
And I think that's something that a lot of people don't realize. It's like, when you have like big name, producers, directors, writers, actors, when they just magically say like surprise announce something, everyone, already has that emotional investment into that person's brand. So they have the ability to like surprise announce. Where I think like, was it like Beyonce a couple years ago, like randomly put out an album, but without like little to like no marketing. And people were like, oh my God, and ate it up.
Yeah, but like
Beyonce. Because people are like, oh, we know who she is. Yeah. She did this surprise, so people are like, oh, this is really cool.
And people are looking for it.
Yeah,
they're like, when they're going to her website, they're watching her social media, they're like anything. anything that says it's happening without spending the money on marketing, because she has broken the 10,000 fan rule.
A little bit.
Yeah. But
once or twice.
What I was saying before JD jumped in was, the $100 for an agent, which is the same thing as like, hey, I just finished my movie. I know you're a studio. You should look at this movie. And it's like, well, why should I? Is the same thing as if you are an actor or anybody and you spend $100 to see like 3 agents, and you got to just you're wasting your money, because basically what they say is, if you're paying to see me, you're not ready to be seen. I should know who you are. I should hear about you. You should be on my radar. And that doesn't necessarily mean because of your skill. It doesn't mean because of your products they should be aware of you. They should be aware of you because people are talking about you. And they could talk about you without you ever being in a film or releasing an album or doing comedy. Am I saying don't do those things? Not at all. You should record albums, make movies. That's the artist fun. That's what you should be doing, because that's what you do. But that's not how you make a living. That's not how you create a career. Those things are the rewards for your time, especially if you're working with friends. Yeah, go have fun, man. Record an album, do this. But manage your money, longevity. If you don't have the money to put into that, do other people's money. That's how investors work. Other people's money. And if you're going to use your own money, it should be allocated that you have investing money that does not influence your safety net, which ultimately pays for your monthly overhead.
Because at the end of the day, you want to make sure you're able to, eat. Get out of my head.
Never.
Also, electricity is really nice.
Why are there clowns in here? Oh,
funny
it's still
story.
in your head.
Oh. But don't touch that one.
Do not touch the clown.
Yeah, that one bites.
Yeah. Anyway. You're right though. Don't touch the clowns. Have you seen the clowns that hide from gay people?
I have.
Oh, interesting. Why are they hiding from me? No. So where I'm getting at is a lot of people, especially in the industry of entertainment, they rely on their product, what it is they quote unquote bring to the table in their mind. Well, I'm an actor, so I have to be an actor. I want to be a lead actor, so I'm only working to get to lead acting. And they just work to build relationships that'll get them the lead actor, but they're not working on relationships that'll build their career, because they're two different things. Being able to be a lead actor is not the same as having a career. Because you and I, if we work together and I wrote a thing, anything, even if it was a short, I'm like, JD, you want to be in this? Learn the lines. You're a terrible actor, but I don't care.
I am definitely a terrible actor.
But that's the thing.
I've acted that I was an actor multiple times.
Yeah. I sit on the toilet bowl and I think, what is my motivation? But that's the idea, is that it doesn't matter that you're a terrible actor. I still want you in the product, because it's just us having fun, or it's just like I want to work with my friends. And I've filmed several projects where there's good actors and there's really bad actors. And I'm not like, they ruined the film, even though they did.
You're like, oh, I'm having fun.
I'm having fun. I just want to have fun,
I mean, girls just want to have fun.
Girls just want to have fun. Girls. That's a cover.
Really?
Yeah, look it up. Every time I say look it up, he doesn't. I just want to put that on the record.
Well, if I bring my phone near the stuff, it's going to start crinkly crackling.
Yeah, but that just means you have to leave.
Oh.
You want me to look it up?
I mean, it's okay.
The thing is, you don't talk when I'm looking things up. So I have to talk and then use my secondary brain to function.
I mean, but that's
to
more
look up something else.
I'm terrible at leading the conversation when it comes to doing the podcast. That's why, I'm the yes man, and you're the guy who, goes, hey, JD, did you know? And I'm like, oh, I didn't know about that, because here is the dead air that is coming.
Maybe I could just be like, oh, so I'm looking up girls just want to have fun, right? Is it a cover? So is girls just want to have fun a cover?
Is it?
Here it goes.
Oh.
It has been covered either as a studio recording or in a live performance by over 30 artists. The single was Lopez's breakthrough hit because it was originally written for a guy.
Really?
Yeah. The single reached number 2 on the U.S. Billboard charts. That's interesting. The composer was Robert Hazard.
Like from the Dukes of Hazzard?
I know. That's funny. The original verse, the covers. Look at that. Too loud. Okay. For months, girls just want to have fun.
Oh, girls just want to have fun.
Yep.
Oh, girls. They totally just want to have fun. I mean, who doesn't want to have fun?
The original was written by Robert Hazard.
Ooh. But
Look at
did
that.
he? But did he put it out, or was he just the songwriter?
Here it is. Oh, okay. First release. It's saying first release is 1983, but it is a cover. Oh no, the first release was 1979,
Oh,
and then Cyndi Lauper put it out in 1983. So it is indeed a cover, and it was released by a guy, which is what it's original.
I learned something today.
Of course you did.
See, this is why you're the smarts, and I'm,
The farts.
the farts.
Yeah.
No, that's a dog.
The
dog
dog
is-
is a fart. He farts a
God.
lot. It's so bad. It brings out the Boston in us.
Ooh, we're not even from Boston.
What were we talking about? All right. So
Boston.
let's get back to the so today's show is basically we're talking about how the hell did this crap make money when crap multimedia sells, right? So let's talk about how the hell did this crap make money. What do you want to say?
Also, I was going to point out, like, when you look at like the Oscars, like the Academy Awards,
I
there's a
have
lot
to?
of movies that
Movies.
personally, I feel like get in there that I've never heard about until Oscar season. I'm like, oh, I never knew that this movie was a
Well,
thing.
you're not a movie person.
This is true, but that's my point. Is the fact that like a lot of this other stuff, like the big action blockbusters,
Yeah.
like they're all the advertisements everywhere,
Mhm.
all like the scary like what all
Yeah.
like the main really big
Yeah.
popcorn movies are just
Yes.
like advertised,
Mhm.
literally in your like shoelaces when you
Wait a
wake
minute.
up in the morning.
Well, you're talking about Shawshank Redemption. That movie had no marketing. It flopped at the box office. No one cared. And then it won a ton of awards and then became the first, it broke records on VHS sales and rentals.
I did not know that.
So, that's what you're talking about. It's like a film like that where it's like, it's an amazing film, but no one cared about it because that year it was like, it was going up against like, blockbuster hits. And that's the difference, blockbuster versus like, that's why Martin Scorsese said that thing about, Marvel movies aren't really cinema. And I don't agree with him. I think cinema is anything that's in the cinema. But the way he's describing it, his point of view on it is that it's not real story. There's nothing new to it. It's not bringing together like human relationships and characters.
But I
and
disagree.
I disagree too, 100%.
There's definitely a lot of human elements, and I think that's what makes that is what makes those Marvel movies so great, even
Yeah.
though they're just like
What's a Marvel movie?
self-aware comic book movies.
Yeah.
Like the fact that like despite the fact that they know what they are and like they're able to poke fun at themselves, like each of the characters has some sort of human element that you're very easily able to connect to.
Yeah,
connect
I
with.
agree. I agree. And but Martin Scorsese is a filmmaker that's, in his mind, he's actually evolutionized the concept of filmmaking, in cinema. He's brought, Godfather, not Godfather, the Goodfellas, Irishman, The Departed, which was a remake, it's basically.
I didn't know that was a remake.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, and I'm not sure, I
We'll
wish
look it up
somebody
on-
would look it up.
We'll look it up and have it on a little pop-up.
Yeah,
right here.
we'll pop it up.
Beep.
I believe it was originally a Chinese film.
Ooh.
And
Well, was it a Chinese film? Because I thought it was actually
Yeah.
based on like the Boston Irish mob
let me see.
that was going on. So maybe it wasn't a.
What was the original Departed based on?
I think it's just based off of the Irish mob.
The original The Departed, Martin Scorsese, is a remake of the Hong Kong film Eternal Affairs. I'm always right. I'm always right. Even though I said Chinese, I know Hong Kong and China are not really the same place. But
technically, you're on the left.
Yeah,
if you're looking at us
Yeah.
through the YouTube right now.
It's a little bit the Hong Kong. I knew it. But I knew it had some, that area. Anyway,
It came from the Asian cinemas.
by the way, the Departed film with Martin Scorsese though did much better than the original Hong Kong version.
Because that Jack Nicholson.
Who? Anyway,
Bob?
great, a fun note in The Departed with Jack Nicholson. This is a segue. When he did the scene with Leonardo DiCaprio, where he's talking about rats, like, yeah, we're looking for a rat, and he drops a gun, like he's
table?
fiddling around with his pants, and he drops the gun on the floor, and then he picks it up and puts it in. Leonardo didn't know he was going to do that. It was like a take after they were like, we got it. Do you have anything else? And he's like, yeah, I want to try something else. And they didn't tell Leo, and he just did what he did, and then he came back. Like when he came back, he's like, and Leo's like, what's going on? That was all. That's why Jack Nicholson's a genius, because he just makes these choices where you're like, who's going to do that?
We're gonna try this.
But the reason people go see a movie like The Departed or watch a 3-hour Irishman is because Martin Martin Scorsese's name is on it. Then it has Robert De Niro, Al Pacino. Like just the names alone are filled with brand draw. Joe Pesci's in it. Not even, like that's the thing. If you think The Irishman was so good, that's why people saw it.
How did they know it was good until I saw it?
It's impossible. Make any sense. But people go, oh, it's a Martin Scorsese film.
I mean,
it might be good because he has a good track record. And then people say it wasn't really the best Martin Scorsese movie, and it was 3 hours. But that's the thing. People, they can't know what you make is good until they see it. But why are they going to see it if they don't have that trust? And what happens is Martin Scorsese, when he was making films, he was like, let's bring in a name actor. I think it was Harvey Keitel was like in Mean Streets or something like that, right? I forget. He had a name actor in Mean Streets. But that's the thing. Like, he would draw people into a film with somebody that already has a brand. And then people
that's called piggybacking.
That is,
you taught me that one.
That is piggybacking.
Yay, I added something.
Woo! All right, good night. Show's over. You're the host.
And we're done.
I really appreciate your time. But so like Mean Streets would be created or whatever the case may be. And that's what directors do when they come out. If they're not really a massively named director, they'll have another brand in it. That's also how movies get made. They'll attach stronger names. Now, this is the other thing, though. A crappy movie, right? An independent crappy movie. And there are really great independent films, but I'm just, as an example, a crappy...
Like what? The original Ninja Turtles.
I was like, it's not crappy.
No. You said they're really good independent films. So I said the original Ninja Turtles, which is an independent film.
That's right. Or the porno you and I did.
That is also an independent
film. We
film.
made 10 grand. We didn't have to show our faces, but no one knew it was us. I mean, some people noticed it was you with your tattoos.
I mean, I just covered them up.
Yeah. And me because I was 4 feet behind you and still inside. It's because I use a yardstick.
Yeah, it's very painful. A lot of splinters.
So you're making me see. So what was I talking about?
I don't know. You're talking about
brand, film, people, Martin Scorsese, getting people in. Crappy films.
All
right, so crappy independent films, what they'll do is they'll be able to afford a great name, right? And they'll be like, hey, let's get, but they spend the budget on like the big name. But what happens is they can only afford like a B level or C level actor. And they're like, yeah, but they're a big name. Yeah, in the 80s. They were like massive in the 80s, but now they're just, who cares about them? They're 70 years old, but they're
borderline retired.
They're borderline.
They do stuff.
They are borderline retired.
They're just like, I'm doing stuff because I'm bored.
Yeah, you paid me, so I will do it, and then I will take over the production because hey, I was huge in the 80s. I was in Miami Vice. But anyway,
you too.
I don't know. Imagine, but Don Johnson actually is he's still a name. Like if you put him in something, people are like it's Don Johnson, but he doesn't have the draw, say, a Brad Pitt has or an Alec Baldwin, And that's the thing though. Now that independent film is like, well, this will help people see our film because the guy from the 80s or the girl from the 80s is in it. The thing is that person doesn't have a huge draw where even a distributor's like, oh, you have so-and-so in it? We'll go put it in 100 theaters. That isn't how it works because that brand value of that C or B level actor or actress or whatever, they're all actors, the performer,
the screen person
doesn't have the draw, so they're not willing to put the money into it, the distributor that is, because they're like, no one's going to see this movie. And that's the thing. now it's like, well, you have the C level actor in it, but is the film good? But the thing is, you just spent all your budget on the actor because they're famous from the 60s now, right, or the 80s. Ugh. And then you're like, you got a crappy camera, only one camera, so now it's going to take longer to shoot shots. And then you're like, all right, let's just slim it down. We'll do like 2 shots. We'll do a master and a mid. And now you're not getting all your
You just do the entire thing in stop motion with a Polaroid.
Oh god, that'd be so funny.
Do ADR for all of everything else.
But you're not getting your shots. You're not getting your shots all done in the shot list, and you're cutting things down. And then maybe you don't have the best sound person. You don't have the best cinematography. You don't have the best AD. You don't have the best whatever. Because a film is not good because it has actors in it. It's good because your team, the whole team, including the actors, are good. But So anyway, you get that C-level actor, and then you're like, oh, this film's gonna be great. It's the same thing with music. I have friends, okay, that
When
are
did you get friends?
Thursday.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
I have friends. This one guy, JD McGibney, right? He's
He sounds like a
basically a
dick.
nobody. What he does is he has his friends to play on songs.
Yeah.
Like, and then like 3 or 4 months will go by. And just like, oh, I got busy doing something I cared about.
Oh man, he sounds like a putz.
No, he's not a putz. He's not a putz. He's a putz. No, no. What I'm saying is like I do have friends. JD is a friend, as you can see, but I do have friends, and what they'll do is they'll spend a lot of money, asking someone of name value to play music on their album. So either a guitarist, a drummer, or a keyboard, whatever the case may be. And if you're spending a couple $100 or even a $1,000 or so just to get them to play on the whole album, that's not the draw of the album. And the reason is what?
No one knows that you're doing it,
No. That
and they don't know.
why are you here?
I'm getting at that. No one knows what you're doing because no one's invested into your brand yet.
No. The reason is because if I bring you onto my album and you were in let's say Kiss, right? People will probably not be interested in that album because it's not Kiss music. It's the same reason that when Kiss split and did the 4 albums as a dedication to each other, Ace Frehley's album, I believe, was the best as far as songs go. I think Peter Criss had 2 hits on there, but if I remember correctly, I believe the Gene Simmons one did the best. Let me double check that.
He's also a master of business, so that wouldn't
Well, he's
surprise
a
me.
master of branding. Let's see. How
I'll be
well
honest, if I think of
did
when I think
four-
of Kiss, the first thing I think of is usually Gene Simmons, and then like the tongue and the blood, and then stuff exploding behind him. That's usually what I think
How
of with
well
Kiss,
did
and also the platform shoes.
Yeah, so releasing 4 solo albums in one day marked the beginning of the end for Kiss, right? Which is funny. Which Kiss solo album sold the most? 26. Wow, it was certified.
Ooh, statistics.
Oh, here we go. Here, Ace Frehley's album actually sold the most.
Really?
Yeah, because he had some of the best songs. He made a really solid, and it was only 36 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, but that's my point. It's literally everybody in Kiss, and some of those albums flapped. No one cared, which is crazy. Rock and roll all night, party
every day. Yeah.
But that's the thing. If you get a name, but let's be more realistic. People can't afford like a Gene Simmons or an Ace Frehley or Paul Stanley, even Peter Criss at this point. You can't afford him to be on your album unless you have money, right? So let's just Alex Skolnick, right?
All right.
What bands he play with?
Testament.
And who else?
I don't know actually.
Exactly. And he does.
He had a jazz band.
He does have a jazz band. But see,
Metal Allegiance too, which is that super group.
See now, here you go. You're getting it right. But you see how far away those answers were to him being in Testament, right? But Alex Skolnick, if he came on your album and you paid him money to play, that's not going to sell your album.
It's not.
It might get you a couple sales, but it's not going to sell your album. But people think that because they're like, oh, I'm piggyback. But the thing is, and I love Testament. I think Alex Skolnick is great, but he's not. He's not Dave Mustaine.
He's also not the main songwriter. It's what's his name?
Yeah,
is it James Murphy? Is the other guy or Eric?
Well, that's the other thing. Like him playing on your album doesn't necessarily mean it's a Testament song.
Yeah,
it's your song, and they're like, who the hell is this person? However, if you did get a Dave Mustaine or if James Hetfield was playing on your album, you would get a small percentage of his fan base to come because it's James Hetfield, right? Because I believe he made an album. Didn't he make like a country album or something? Or was that Metallica? They did like a country song or something.
They had one country song they won a country music award for.
Jesus.
Was it Mama Said?
My mama said, day like this. That song? I don't know.
No, that
doesn't matter.
That's like from the 50s.
Oh.
Every days like this, my mama said.
My mama said.
Mama said.
Mama said.
Different mama said.
However, where I'm getting to is just because someone great is on your album or someone great is in your film, or even if you did a comedy show, let's say you were going to do a comedy show and you could only afford a B or C level comedian, like I hired an amazing comic. I love this comic. I think Tom DiDario is a fabulous comedian.
He's a funny guy.
He's a very funny guy. I've hired him twice for foundation shows, like to raise money for cancer or MS.
Good job.
And I had to pay him. I had to pay him a couple $100, right? Just to come out. And he is, and I hate saying it, but he's basically a C level. His fame is C level. People know him on Long Island. Some people know him in the city. Some people know him a little bit.
But he's known in the local areas.
Yeah, but he's not a Louis C.K. He's not a Jerry Seinfeld. He's not these, and he should be though. He's extremely talented, and he's very funny, very quick, very smart, very nice guy too. He's extremely nice.
He's a real mensch.
He's also an actor. So he's a writer, actor. He's a comedian. Wonderful guy, right?
So is he the kind of guy that your grandma would pinch on the cheeks and call him a mensch?
Probably, but he is Italian, so they might, I don't know what that means. So anyway, he did 2 shows with me. His name alone did not draw an audience. I had to build the audience. So the way we did it is the other comedians that were on the show, they brought people. I was like, if you could get 10 people, that'd be great. Just bring 10 people. And with the first show, we ended up doing almost 300 seats. The second show, we did about 100, 150. But we still made enough money, to pay Tom DiDario.
And also raise money.
Yeah. The first show we killed. Because 300 seats times 200 times $20.
Now, did you also have an extra option where if people wanted to donate more, they could donate more?
They could do that, and we did a raffle.
Oh, cool!
I got a ton. I got Yankee tickets for one thing, So, but anyway, Yankee, two.
Yeah.
But we got 4. That's what I mean by 2. Like two. Like
2 sets of 2.
Yeah. But
so 4 tickets.
And you couldn't win both. It was like something like if you win one, then you're canceled out of the second one.
Which makes sense. Makes it fair.
Yeah, it made it fair. And those were a big, because people paid actually more for the Yankee tickets.
That's funny.
But they were actually donated to us, so.
That's usually how like a charity thing like that goes.
Yeah, usually.
Usually.
But it's Yankees. So that's my point is, even though I think he's amazing and I think he should be out there, I think he should be working with agents and booking people, and obviously COVID's slowing down, but even before then, this is 10 years ago where I was doing these things. He should be somewhere. You know what I'm saying? But his name alone did not draw an audience. People weren't like, oh my God, let's get this guy. I need to see him, and that's the thing. However, we did try to get what's the guy who does the goat? Jim Brewer.
Oh yeah.
Right, that guy.
The metal guy.
Who's also they're really close friends with Paul Bond, who is a comedian that is a local comedian. And again, he's like a Tom DiDario, genius comic. He basically opened up for Jim Brewer for a long time. He was Jim Brewer's guitarist when Jim Brewer did they're still I think if Jim Brewer goes out with the band, Paul Bond goes with him. But that's the thing. Paul Bond is Paul Bond at his level, even though he should be to the next level. He's amazing, right? Jim Brewer, however, is Jim Brewer. And when we asked Jim Brewer's people if he could perform, they asked for $20,000.
Holy crap.
Now, this is the thing, though. If I was able to afford, because you have to have the money. You don't give it to them when you hire them. You give them a portion of it, like a percentage of it, and then the day of the show.
Down payment.
Yeah, but before they play, they need money. They need the whole money, right? So I had to have $20,000. Plus, I had to be if I rented the Patchogue Theater, which is 1,000 seats, I know that theater would have sold out for many reasons. 1, Jim Brewer is a legend. 2, Jim Brewer is from Long Island. 3, Jim Brewer has a draw. Those 3 things would have made Patchogue Theater a hit. The thing is, I did not want to invest my own money into $20,000 for him, and then I have to $2,500 for the theater. But if it's 1,000 seats and I charge, let's say, $35 or even $40, that's $40,000. 20 goes to Jim, and then I have another 18,000 after expense. Maybe
Yeah, so
probably
whatever the
15,000
expenses-
after expenses. People will spend $40 on Jim Breuer because most of his tickets are $60 to $100. But that's the thing. Most people can't afford a $20,000 comedian or a $20,000 actor or even a $100,000 actor. You know what I'm saying? So they have this idea, like, again, why does crap? We're not really talking about how the hell did this crap make money.
We're talking about the mentality of why people are just like, oh, let's try doing
Yeah.
this to try and piggyback off of someone with not actually having
to make the money, right?
Yeah, not having the budget to invest.
But to bring it back, we are talking about how we have the festival, and the festival, the awards looks like it's gonna, there are people winning the festival, and then the awards are people.
It's two different.
It's
things.
crazy. It's crazy. Which is what we talk about, and that's what I was basically explaining. And people try to bypass that truth by hiring a name, but they'll spend money on basically a C or B level actor,
I think,
performer.
Yeah. I totally have a brain part. Sorry.
You did great.
Thanks.
By the way, this is an audio box. So, but moving on, how the hell did this crap make money? And the thing is, it comes down to the three needs of success: network, market, practice. These people who are out there making money, if you're listening to the radio and you're like, how did this music get on the radio?
They networked.
They network, market, and practice. They built and cultivated relationships with people that were interested in getting them seen and heard because they believed in them and they cared about them and they were interested in them. Marketing is that they started building a brand. If you have a strong enough brand, you can suck, but you will not have longevity. And that's the difference between like a one-hit wonder or like, sometimes you see a movie with an actor and you're like, this is the most amazing thing in the world. And then like they're gone.
Like what happened to Steve Guttenberg?
You know what? That's actually a good question because he was amazing.
Especially in the Police Academy movies. I mean, come on.
That's what I'm saying. Like, come on. What do you Joe Biden over here. Come on. Come on. Vote for Joe Biden. All right. So, what did happen? Let me see what happened to Steve Guttenberg. You have me interested. Let's see. Steve Guttenberg. I got to talk about what I'm doing.
The last thing that I remember seeing him in, I was a kid. I was watching one of those like, man, he was in like some like kid movie.
He pops right up when I write Steve.
That's so funny that he's like one of the top things.
Well, let's see what happened.
Unless he had like a thing where like, like Rick Moranis is just like, I'm going to retire and take care of my family.
Oh, wow. Look at this.
What?
There's no denying he was a hit in the 80s. Guttenberg rode high on a wave of top grossing movies. He's perhaps best known for starring as Carrie Mahoney in the Bawdy Police Academy franchise, which he left. He chose to leave. Cocoon, Three Men and a Baby, Short Circuit, great movie.
That was a great movie.
Since then, the frequency is gone. Let's see. He rose. Unfortunately, he got typecast.
Oh no, that's
overall,
terrible.
while Guttenberg's box office peaked include a number of highly regarded critical successes like Diner, Cocoon, The Bedroom Window. For the most part, he became known for playing affordable guys in lightweight comedies like Short Circuit, Three Men and a Baby, and the Academy movies, which is basically what I was saying earlier. Not exactly the type of thing that sends casting agents running for the phone demanding to have an actor. This is branding, by the way. He fell into that, well, it's a job, I got paid for it, and he was just doing these gigs and casting people like, well, that's not what we're trying to cast. And it's important to know.
So I got a question for you. How can we compare his career path where he basically did, went with like the typecasting and then follow someone, like who made the decision to specifically early on diversify, someone like Brad Pitt.
Tom Hanks.
Well, I was gonna say Brad Pitt and Denzel Washington because we've covered them on the show before.
Well, yeah, but Tom Hanks in the 80s was on Bosom Buddies, which was a terrible, terrible show, even though it was like a cult hit. But he took that
and then Big
movie. Well, that was later. So, him and Guttenberg basically started in the same era, but something with Tom Hanks, he chose to do different things. He didn't just stick to this is what, because he did Bachelor. Do you remember the movie The Bachelor?
Nope.
Exactly. But Tom Hanks was in that, which was sort of like a bosom buddies kind of movie. Except, he wasn't dressing up like he wasn't dressing up like a girl, but the comedy was like that kind of comedy. It was, dirty and stuff like that. Anyway, it doesn't really say what happened to him, but basically he got kind of pushed out because he was branded weird. He was in Goonies. Who was he in Goonies?
Was he in Goonies?
There are films that are these are just films that are remembered fondly. Okay. Let's just get to where is he?
Steve Guttenberg. Where'd you go? Where is he now?
He was on Dancing in the Stars. Dancing with the Stars. He was in Sharknado, just proving my point.
Wow. That is amazing. Like Tara Reid is in Sharknado.
I know.
She was like
she's the reason it made money is because she's like basically a joke, and they were just like, you have to see this stupid movie.
Well, the entire movie is a joke.
I know, that's what's great.
Spoiler alert, they kill the Sharknado with a propane tank.
He's gonna be 60. No, he's already 60 because this was 2 years ago.
What?
Jesus.
When did Steve Guttenberg become 60?
Guttenberg. The Goot.
The Goot.
The Goot. Oh, what was that? Why would you drop it?
Sounded like a good idea.
Did it crack?
Nope.
Oh, damn. So how the hell did this crap make money? Now, the simple reason is 3 needs of success, network, market, practice. People have built and cultivated relationships with the right circle of influence. And remember, circle of influence isn't people that can influence your career. They're people that influence you to have better habits, influence you to start thinking differently, influence you to change your bad habits to good habits within your field of interest. Marketing is that you establish yourself. You're basically who you are, your ideals, your morals, your missions. And people of like-mindedness they empathize with you and they pull you in. They go, I want to work with this kind of person because this is somebody that follows the same kind of feelings I do. And then practice. They just understand their business. Tom Hanks versus Guttenberg understood how the business works. If you hear him in interviews, he talks about it, how he's like, I took chances with this. I took a risk with that. Denzel Washington's the same thing. He's somebody that was like, I know what I want to do with my career.
Yeah, because it wasn't there one of the early things that he in his career, he got offered to play basically like, stereotypical like thug. And he's like, I really don't want to do that because I don't want to, I want to get away from that stereotype. And I also don't want to be typecast.
Sidney Poitier, if I remember correctly, was the one who said, think about what you want to, what do you want to stand for? What do you care about? And he goes, you're right. This is not what I don't want to be this, I want to be something more. And that's important for anything, even music or comedy. Whatever you do is an influence to your brand.
Everything you do must affect everything you do.
Absolutely.
As you say, constantly.
And this is how the hell did this crap make money? That's it. That's it. Now, if you hear crap and then it vanishes, it means they focused on becoming successful. They just focused, they used up, very important. They used up their networking. They used up their relationships. They used up their brand value. If you're not evolving your brand, if you're not getting your brand involved with the community, and the community doesn't mean like working with your local community, it just means getting people interested in what you do. Are you, like, for example, what's the guy who plays the Hulk? The Hulk.
Which Hulk? Right now, Mark Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo. He does. He has a mission. One of his missions is, I believe, clean water. I believe, and something else. He's involved in things like that. So his name is attached to that. He doesn't have to do that, but he needs to do that. A, he believes in the mission, and B, it's a part of his brand, and it's allowing people to go, oh, I believe in that, so I like Mark Ruffalo, right? But you have to continue to work on your longevity, which is the management of your time, money, and the people around you. Make sure the right people around you all the time. And again, not to use them, but to utilize the relationship in a cohesive way, a synergetic way. But going back to, the people who have like a one-hit wonder or even two-hit wonder, it's because they use up their relationships. They don't evolve their brand or get their brand involved. And then, of course, their practice, they refuse to acknowledge their weaknesses and focus only on their strengths. And therefore, they never improve or become, as 3 Needs of Longevity suggests, talented. So that's something to be very...
Because talent is more than just the art that you're creating.
Well, talent is what do you bring to the table? And if you have more weaknesses than strengths, or your strengths are limited to just being really good at 2 or 3 things instead of like a renaissance person towards a lot of smaller things, you know, that's what I'm saying. So when crap multimedia sells, it really it makes people feel like, well, if this crap can make money, my crap can make money. But the difference is their crap makes money because they are doing that mentality. They're creating that network market practice. They're creating the longevity. You know, they're doing things that somebody who goes, well, I made a CD or I filmed a movie or I did this or that. And they're like, well, I did these things, so I should make money. And that's the thing. Like,
well, that's the thing. The people who say I should make money, they're expecting. They feel like they're owed something, and they're not necessarily going, oh, let me build up this thing. Let me get involved with people. Let me give back. They're just like, oh, it's me.
Well, that's the artist brain, 100%, where it's just like, well, I created this. It's my thing. I want to make a success on it. Like, if you ever hear an artist, anyone who creates something, say, I don't really want anyone else involved in the creation of this because I want to survive on the merit of me doing it. And if I do it and I create success, that person will always be a failure. They will never make it.
As they say.
That's right. So again, you know, like that's the hard part is like, if it's like, well, this is my vision, this is what I want to do, or, you know, no one takes any opinions for anything, or they, Imperial, who's a good boy? Oh, he moved the camera. Can you move it to you?
I can.
Just has to go to the right. Really, just a nudge to the right.
Nudge to the right.
Too much. Oh, all right, good. Imperial wants to go play with the doggies outside. Keep going. No, the right. Keep going. That's the left. You want to go that way. Oh, well, then go that way. You are now going the wrong way. All right. Go left. Go left. Right there. Perfect.
There we go. Fixed.
Imperial, lay down. Lejat, my doggy. He wants the puppies outside. The guy, our neighbor, just went on our lawn and just let his dogs crap on our lawn. Again.
What's really weird is like we go outside and he's just like, oh, hey.
He just stares at us while his dogs bark, and I'm just like, could you move your dogs? My dog's not barking, but it's just like
the dog.
I'm gonna kill your dogs. That's what my dog looks at. I can eat your dogs. I'm bigger than both of your dogs.
Imperial is just like, what are you doing? And then his dogs are like, you know, this big.
They're tiny.
For those listening on the radio, I went like this.
Yeah. For those listening on the radio, he just was like, yeah, my fingers. Where was I? Oh, so when crap media, multimedia sells, to have your brain as an artist think, I don't need anyone else involved in the creation of what I'm doing. I must become successful on my merit. That destroys a career.
It does, because it shows that you're not a team player. It shows that you're just in it for yourself. And
that's right.
You know, a lot of people don't realize that no matter what.
Good boy.
He's the most graceful pup.
Hi, I am the host of the show. I am the only one on the show. How are you? Oh, all right, Imperial. Come here, baby. No, it's not good enough. Not good enough. Oh, perfect. Imperial, over here. Come. How can he listen to me if you give him? Imperial, come here. Imperial, come here. What are you doing? Don't you know how giving direction works?
Oh, he's staring at me.
He's got to listen to this guy. Sometimes I'll come in, like I'll walk the dog, and I'll come into the house, and I'm going to get his leash, and as soon as I go to grab it, JD goes, Imperial! And then the dog runs away, and I'm just like, whatever. You know? Bad parenting. Oh, wait, let me fix the camera so you're at least on it.
Oh, I thought it was on it already.
Nah, I should take you off.
I mean, I'm just here. How's that?
Aspetta. Lejad, bubala. No, it's good. It's good. What are you doing? Come back. It's good.
You're barely on it.
No, I'm definitely on it.
All right, there we go.
I know it was good. All right. I can fix that. I can just take you off.
And that works.
All right. So when crap multimedia happens, if the artist's brain is thinking, well, if Metallica made an album, all I have to do is make an album.
If I make it, they will come.
Yeah. If I build it, they will not come because they don't know who I am. And that's the thing. Like, a thing does not necessarily make success. Your product is not your road to success. And if you focus on your products, you're not focusing on the process. And the process to what led Metallica to where they are is different than the fact that they released an album. They've earned the right to release that album.
Because they had built all the relationships and the brand before the album even came out.
Yeah. Because really, if you think about it, how the hell did that song, actor, comedian, movie, television show get made and make money? And you're not Metallica when you start out. You're not, Brad Pitt. You're not Scorsese. You're not Jim Brewer. You're not Louis C.K. You're not Seinfeld. You're not, whatever. You're not a musician. You're not a band. You're not somebody of celebrity. And hey, Periel, heel. Good boy. Over here.
Hey, Dad. I'm over here now.
Good boy.
Oh, Dad.
Sit down.
Ooh.
Good boy. Good boy.
He's a good punum. Oh, look at his cute little face.
All right, Periel, leisure.
But, Dad,
Good leisure.
if I do that, then I can't be annoying.
All right, there we go.
Woohoo, high five.
Woo! Thanks for not giving him secondary directions.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that. Ooh, we got a comment.
Ooh, we got a comment.
Robert Esposito. Hey, speaking
Ooh.
of a fun comic spoof with current themes, Stressed, make sure you watch it. That's really funny. Speaking is a fun comic spoof. That's funny.
That's really funny.
Speaking of speaking, it'll take you back.
Definitely.
Let's put that up. That's funny. Look at Mr.
Their comedy
Robert
game is afoot
Esposito.
in that movie.
Oh God, yeah. It's one of those movies you watch and you say to yourself, "What did they say?" They can't be saying that. You'll be surprised what they say. You will.
Definitely.
You'll be like, "I'm shocked," But it is a fun film. I saw it at least. It's like 25 minutes long, and I watched the whole thing up to like the 4th or 5th minute. And then no, it was a great film. I actually enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, we both watched it.
Yeah, that's why we picked it. If we didn't enjoy it, if we both didn't enjoy it,
It wouldn't be in the festival.
it wouldn't be in the festival. Now, I'm not saying only 9 films submitted, because that's not true.
That is definitely not true.
I believe 12 films submitted, right? Or something like that.
I don't remember.
No, I don't know. A few films actually.
Or definitely some.
Let's talk about terrible movies. Anyway, so that's the thing. Like, if you're asking yourself, how the hell did this crappy anything make any money? That's it, man. It really comes down to network market practice. If you're and having a game plan. When I see people complete something, a product, they're like, "Oh, here's my album, or here's my movie, or my comedy special is ready." And you didn't talk about that adventure. You didn't build the marketing and the relationships way before you had something. Because think about the reality of that, the psychology of that. Imagine I only came to you when I needed stuff. How would you feel about that relationship?
I would not answer your phone calls.
And that's why friends and family eventually avoid people, especially bands, when they're like, "Come to my show." And then they see you at a party and they hide in the corner.
They're like, "I don't want to talk to that person."
Yeah, it's not that they don't like you. It's just they know why you're talking to them. You've already trained them and branded that you just need them to pay money to see you. It's the same thing with movies. Hey, my movie's done. You should see it. Well, what about before the movie was done? How come you didn't reach out to me? How come I'm not seeing your adventure? Because they need to connect to
How
you.
come you didn't just reach out to say, "Hey, how you doing? How's your mother?
How's your mother doing?
How's your mother?
She's doing all
How's
right.
your grandma? Oh,
Look at
goodness."
the mommy. Look at the mommy, right?
Yeah, no, people don't ever want to feel like they're just being used. It's
Correct.
if you are the kind of person that uses people, you're not a very nice person.
Yeah.
I would be more colorful, but I feel like I would.
Yeah, no,
it would not be good.
we'll
on the
lose our
YouTube.
Pepsi sponsorship.
Oh,
I
like Pepsi.
That's the thing, though.
I don't drink soda.
Your fan base is friends and family. So, and I mean that in the sense of treat them like friends and family. If your fan base is only hearing from you when you need them to do something, like come to the show, buy a ticket, buy a product, whatever the case,
They're not going to want to.
You're pushing them away. They have no interest in you. But
A fan base should be a community.
It should be. That's right. It should be a community. Fan is short for fanatic. That's really what it is. Like the fanatic. But Prince used to call them family. family.
I like that.
He's like, they should be your family, right?
See, that guy's he's smart.
He was a smart cookie. He was crazy, but a smart cookie.
What's that word? It's
What? Great.
No.
Let's slow the show down. What is it? That was
Brain fart.
exciting.
Never mind. You're welcome.
You know what? Thank you.
Going back.
Going back to the topic at no. So that's the thing though. Like, you need to treat your audience or your potential new audience as family. You know, I'm saying family.
Eccentric. That's what I was thinking of.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I could tell he was thinking, because he had like the I have no idea what else is going on in the world look on his face. He's just staring at me like I'm a vagina. You know, because he's like, what do I do with it? Oh, that's right. Eccentric.
Yeah, you have to like poke at it, right?
you gotta learn your spells to fill your biceps up. So
I mean, you do. What's my stamina? What's my aura?
Your aura.
Oh.
Let me tell you what your aura is. Don't make me throw poop at you.
Please
so
don't. Speaking of,
and that's really what happens is when JD just says random sporadic things. I lose my train of thought. Thank you, I appreciate that.
I'm here to help.
I don't believe that. Not one bit. What was I saying? I'm totally lost. So
Prince, genius, family.
Family. So when you're working with your branding, you should be showing your emotional adventure. You should be showing what you're doing, but not what you want them to see you are doing. Because there's a statement, a mantra I live by. It says, people want to see you succeed. They just don't want to hear about it. And what that means is they want to see you succeed. They want to see you defy your odds. They want to watch your trials and tribulations. They want to watch you fail and then persevere. They want to watch all basically the behind the scenes stuff. And it doesn't mean to film behind the scenes stuff and like edit it down and do like a video. You can, but what they want to see is like, what are you dealing with? What is your emotional dealings? How is the emotion helping? Are you happy about it? Sad about it? Is it elevating you? Are you learning from it? Because people can't relate to you making an album. They can't relate to filmmakers doing a film. But what they can relate to is you loving something so much, failing, and then working through it to succeed. That's where they have the empathy. And that's how an audience is built. They're built through that empathy, because marketing is defined as designing a brand to build awareness, which creates interest that ultimately generates sales. So people buy into your brand's message emotionally. And that's the point. You need people to buy into you emotionally, because then they're willing to spend money on you. They're not waiting for you to ask them to spend money. They want to spend money.
They just go, shut up, take my money.
That's what they do. And the thing is, now they're seeking you out and saying, when is your album coming out? When is your movie coming out? When's the next thing you're doing coming out? I want to see it. In fact, when I gave up music, when I left Tenebra,
Bye Tenebra.
Bye Tenebra. A few years later, I ended up acting, and my first play was Romeo and Juliet, which is Shakespeare, and everyone knows Shakespeare is very difficult to listen to. I love Shakespeare, though, and that's why I worked hard to make that my first acting gig. All right, and it was paid. My first acting gig was paid.
Ooh, I'm actually I'm not surprised.
I wouldn't work on it. So the thing is, when I did that, my audience from Tenebra saw that I marketed it on my website, and these were families, members that wanted to see me, so they sought me out and went to my website and saw that I was performing, and there was a good amount of people at the show to see me because I was in it, even though it wasn't music. I had changed my medium completely. I went from being a band, a musician, a singer, guitarist, to acting. And I didn't even have that big of a role. I was the prince. So I got to do the two households, both alike in dignity, and fair Verona, where we lay our scene, from ancient grudge to new mutiny, right? And then I did the other part, was like, why are you guys fighting with swords? Stop it. And then I have two other parts. The other one is basically, I told you, I said no fighting. That's it. Who did this? And then the end of it, I come out and I tell I narrate the end. It's like
7 years.
Two lovers, these two, I do that thing.
7 years ago.
Two lovers dead. Which could, I don't know if you know this, but they're both like 14 in the
yeah, no, they're kids,
right? And like the actors that were playing,
but they're also like
one was like
30 for then.
Yeah,
it's like average life expectancy was
it's
like
10. How old are you? 15. Ooh, over the hill.
Oh, your grandma.
I remember when I used to have sex at 9.
Oh, back in my day.
But that's my point. I had my family from my Tenebra days follow me to my acting, which I was just Thomas J. Bellezza. I wasn't performing as Telmore and Altanian, which that was my main name with Tenebra, and I marketed it as that. But as soon as that's the power of branding. Emotional branding allows people to follow you through multimedia. And that's why when James Hetfield did a movie, as in like he had an acting part in a movie as like a cop. I forget what movie it was.
It was wasn't it one of the Ted Bundy movies that came out on Netflix?
Oh yeah, it was the Ted Bundy, the one with yeah.
He also he's done a whole bunch of like voice acting, especially for like Metalocalypse.
But
him and Kirk Hammett.
That's the thing. Like people know about that. If you're a fan of James Hetfield, you're gonna follow him, and he's not an actor, and yet people follow him as an actor. Same thing with Jared Leto. He's 30 Seconds to Mars, but he's been in all these movies, and people follow him through these different mediums.
If I remember correctly,
is it 30 minutes to Mars?
30 Seconds to Mars.
30 seconds.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, he was actually him. It was him and his brother, I think, started the band, and they were an independent band, but he started acting in order to get in the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
And then basically, once he had built up enough brand value for himself, he specifically used that to to build up the brand value of 30 Seconds to Mars. But when he did that, he didn't push it like, oh, it's Jared Leto, the actor. He just focused on that being a separate thing. So he didn't use like his actor. So he didn't use his actor celebrity to push that brand.
Yeah, they're definitely two separate brands, and I do that too. Except like in my mind, I'm Thomas J. Bellezza, and these are my traveling adventures of a resilient entertainer. And then it just so happens I have these other projects.
Yeah. And I think why that works, like you had pointed that out when I first met you, is the fact that it gives each brand. I think he actually went upstairs, which is weird.
Totally went upstairs.
He hates going upstairs. Ghost. Anyway,
he's probably going to Nevy's room. I'm gonna have to check that out.
So
go ahead, talk about this.
Basically, what you had taught me is
talk about me. I love that.
I will. What Jared Leto had done is something you had pointed out, which is he created separate brands that were able to live separately from one another. So this way, they were vaguely attached because people were attached to Jared Leto, but he wasn't using that as the anchor to build up the 30 Seconds to Mars brand. And what you had mentioned about doing, basically creating the separate brands for different projects, is that it allows you to have more creativity with each project, because it's not necessarily like, oh, I have to be this way all the time. Where, say, someone like Slash from Guns N' Roses, no matter what happens, no matter what he does, he always has to be with like sunglasses and a top hat playing guitar. And if he doesn't have the top hat, people are like, what's going on here?
Yeah, I don't know what you were talking about, but I agree.
Oh, thank you. High five.
Are you saying?
I was saying with having separate brands for different projects. So Jared Leto as a person, as an actor, is one brand, and then he was very specific in having 30 Seconds to Mars have its own separate brand. Yeah. Whereas one of the things that you pointed out is if someone were to be like, oh, like Slash, no matter what he does, I heard
that part. Yeah.
And no matter what he does, he has to be
Slash
a certain way. Like if he's like, even if he's just like walking on doing a cameo in a movie, he has to be Slash with the top hat, or people are gonna be like, "What's going on?"
Yeah, who is this guy? Yeah. Well, that's the same. Like with me, I market Thomas J. Bellezza, and then it just so happens I do these other things. But if I do Altanian stuff, I won't talk like me. I'll talk like Altanian.
Yeah, you'll have the Altanian voice.
Yeah, and that's very important.
Complete with accent.
That is true. I use the accent.
Hello. In Soviet Altanian.
I am Soviet Altanian. The thing is, though, I have the power because I'm Thomas J. Bellezza, so that gives me options, and people see that, and then they go, "Oh, you do other things." But even when I do comedy, like people don't understand this, but Thomas J. Bellezza is my stage name. My real name is Tomas Joseph Bellezza. No one's gonna say any of that. It's just too much. So when I'm on stage, it's just straight Thomas. It's just J, the letter J, and then Bellezza, which is like the worst, USA way of saying. It's like in English. How do you say Bellezza or Bellezza? It's. And one person called me a barracuda once on stage, and I was just like, all right, look, it's Bell and Ezza. That's it.
I'm forever going to be calling you Tom Barracuda.
That's all right. I'll just be calling you a moron.
Worth it.
As Moron's best man,
Barracuda.
I would like to say that I've loved and appreciated Moron for years, and I'm just glad that this woman has met Moron.
And I'm just
Is this
so
being
happy
filmed?
that Tom Barracuda is here to celebrate with us.
It'd be so funny if people Tom Barracuda's here. I love that actor comedian.
20 years of building up a brand ruined in 5 minutes. Oh, this is my best friend, Tom Barracuda.
This is Tom. That's so.
Damn it, curse you, JD.
This is JD Smalldick.
Where the Tom Barracuda.
That's so.
I
I don't get it. Let me just mute your mic. Yeah, but you're right, and that's the thing. Like when you're marketing yourself, you should be focusing on marketing like a strong central brand, and then if you do anything else, as you grow your strength, you could create multiple separate brands.
It's like having a wheel. Like you are at the very center, and each of the spokes is a different thing that you could branch off and do. So each spoke is like, oh, this is the band I do.
Yeah.
This is a movie I did. This is the production company. This is my charity. This is my I'm gonna juggle cats on the weekend.
Yeah, but even when I like I might talk about how like I have like if I'm like, oh, music show's coming up, I'll say as Thomas my emotional venture towards the music show, right? But if I have a movie coming out, I will also say Thomas J. Bellezza from my emotional perspective. However, if I utilize the brand to show that perspective, I have to put it in that emotional perspective of the brand. For example, let's say on the Thomas J. Bellezza social media, I might say, this weekend can't come soon enough. I haven't been on stage in so long. I just need to get that burst of energy back on. Looking forward to playing some music again, right? I might say something like that. And then on the Altanian brand, it probably would be more poetic and it's like finally the mortals have a chance to celebrate and worship their God of all things in the temple of the
whatever
essence,
the venue is,
whatever and the temple of the king,
the temple of the Patchogue Theater,
the Patchogue Theater. But then another thing is I could share that. So if the Altanian poses that as Thomas J. Bellezza, I could share that to the Thomas J. Bellezza brand and be like,
this guy talks funny.
This guy makes it difficult to pay, right? And then BBR which is another brand I have. It's the company brand, right? So I can have BBR share, and BBR might be like, we're proud to say that the show came together fairly well, and to be able to get the performers to come together and rent the night to make this event possible. We're also raising money for blank, 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 right? Those are 3 different brands. But my personal brand can interact with all, because then I could share the BBR one. BBR also makes it difficult to pee, right?
And it does have any hands.
You'd be surprised. But that's the thing you're trying to search for when you're doing what you're doing is you're ultimately. Oh wait.
Did you break stuff?
No. I'm trying to get rid of the comment. That's the thing when you're trying to market, you have to make sure you understand what your brand is. Imagine, for example, you meet me, like somebody, someone comes to me and like 7 to 10 years later, I'm like, well, what is your brand? And then the person's just like, well, I do music. And you're like, oh, but what is your brand? And the person's like, I don't know. And then I'm like, well, look up your bullet points. And then like, what are those?
What's a bullet?
You got to look up your bullet points. But the thing is, you need to know what your brand stands for so you can maintain that voice when marketing. Because the only way you're going to be able to, I want to get the other thing up. The only way you'll be able to sell your products is if you know what your brand stands for and starts building and cultivating those relationships and your brand relationships before you even have the product, before you even start making the product. And that's why crappy films make money, is because they're putting their time into building those relationships. Sharknado happened because of the relationships and the branding of that movie. And Sharknado, I think they have 5 of them, right?
Yeah, 5 or 6.
And they have, I think, alligators now or something, right? Then they created another. If
I remember correctly, I think like Sci-Fi at one point was just trying to make all these like really ridiculous, cheesy sci-fi movies.
Yeah.
Sharknado was one of the first ones, but that was the one that people,
Sharknado should continue. I'm just saying.
They should just make one every year for Christmas.
Sharknado Christmas saved again. And that's the thing. So, today's show was all about basically how the hell did this crap make money when crap multimedia sells, and really, that's what it comes down to. We'll say it often about shows. People forget the value of building and cultivating relationships to increase their circle of influence, while also designing a brand to build awareness, which creates interest that ultimately generates sales. So people buy into your brand's message emotionally, and then they forget the value of themselves and the practice aspect of understanding and enhancing your strengths and weaknesses. These things, if you put them into action, it will build a world in your industry that if you did do something, people become interested in what you're doing, not because you say you're doing it. Never tell people what you're doing. You're not at that level. When you're starting out, you're not at the level.
You haven't earned the right to be like, hey,
correct.
I'm doing this thing. Buy this.
Yeah.
This.
If you haven't earned the right of those 10,000 true fans, you haven't earned the right to say, buy my thing. You just haven't. But a Metallica go, we have an album come out. It's all country. And people are like, I'll check it out.
I mean, they were able to do Lulu.
and load and reload.
I like those albums.
I know. But you're not really you don't like music.
Says you.
You like instrumental music, so you just kind of tune out the vocals. King of that. Okay. By the way, we read the last episode we did, the episode before this, we read lyrics from Metallica. We read like lyrics from Master Puppets, and then all
King
the way
Nothing. And then like Moth to Flame.
Oh my god, it was terrible.
Oh god.
You could just see how much they don't care. They just don't care.
I was like, let's put something out. It's been a decade.
It's been and that also proves my point. Their quality level and lyrics have dropped. Like they're
drastically.
The message in their music has dropped, but their brand value has given them the ability to maintain that longevity. Their quality of playing is still second to none. I mean, they're amazing players as a band.
Well, I'm pretty sure that James Hetfield's right arm is robotic.
It has to be. Have you ever heard that joke where the guy gets his hand cut off, right? But he's a chronic masturbator.
No, I haven't heard this.
And he goes to the doctor and he goes, Doc, I don't. The stranger isn't working for me. The stranger where like you use the opposite hand. And he's like, my main hand, it's off. I need something to do. And the doctor says, well, we have this new device. It's called, tell me what to do, right? And they put, and it's a metal, it's a robotic arm. You wear it, and you just have to, like here's a cup. Say pick up cup, and and he says pick up cup, and the hand picks up the cup, and he's like a drink from cup, and then, like he drinks from the cup. He's like, this is amazing.
Oh.
So he goes home and he's excited, and he's like, oh, I gotta go to the bathroom. So he goes in the bathroom and he's like, hand, unzip pants, and unzip pants. He goes, all right, hold penis, and it holds penis, and he's just peeing, and he's just sitting there, and the hand is still holding the penis, and he's like, this is let me see where we're at here. And he goes, hand, a jerk off penis, and it rips his penis up, and he goes, fuck me, and then it starts banging him in the ass, and he goes, oh, this sucks, and he starts sucking the penis.
I mean, it's perfect for YouTube.
I described what happened as well. I always thought that joke was so funny.
It was a funny joke.
Jerk off penis. Oh, God. Fuck me. This sucks. I'll have to cut that from the final thing. But anyway.
We don't make this stuff up.
We don't make this stuff up. But to accentuate the truth and the point of this episode is Metallica sucks now. But they have such an amazing brand value that they are still able to keep such a strong audience no matter what they do.
And they've basically built themselves to be one of the largest, if not the largest metal band ever to exist.
Yeah, because if you're basing their success off of Kill 'Em All, that album A is one of the worst recorded albums ever.
It only sold about 60,000.
Only about 60,000. Well, now more, but because over the years.
Yeah, like the original run was like 60,000.
60,000, which is insanely low.
Yeah.
So that album didn't make them Metallica.
No. Metallica made them Metallica.
Yeah, the way they really built their relationship.
I meant just like the brand, not the album.
Yeah, Metallica made them not Metallica.
If anything, Ride the Lightning made them Metallica.
Ride the Lightning. I wish that was like in the song. Ride the Lightning. But I think they just go. I think there's a song that says Ride the Lightning, right?
Oh,
it just says Ride the Lightning.
I don't know if they say Ride the Lightning.
Do they say it? It's talking about a guy who gets electrocuted.
Yeah. That's why it's on the album cover.
Oh my God, I totally.
Oh my God.
And now that I'm seeing it, let me look that up.
I totally get it now. It
Let me-
makes sense.
Oh my God,
I'm so glad JD's on the radio show.
Jesus, you're electrifying.
Oh, how shocking.
Oh wow, you kill me. All right. So I think we talked this down a little bit. I think we got what we came here to get.
So basically, it comes down to it's if nobody knows about you or what you're doing, they're not gonna the quality doesn't matter how good it is
Yeah.
because they just don't know it exists and they don't have an emotional attachment to it.
Yeah, don't ever believe you're so good, awesome, amazing, and unique that just because you make something, people are going to buy it. You have to, the quality of time we put into something returns the quality. So if you put the quality of your time into building and cultivating relationships, those people are going to care about you. But if the only time you reach out to them or even on social media, post your stuff, it's to a call to action, like buy a ticket, see my movie, buy my album, watch me do comedy, you're killing your brand and your relationships quicker than your career is even able to start.
And it's really difficult to earn that back after people have already been like turned off from the relationship.
I mean, look at Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson, at the height of his career, went on to that rant where he was drunk, pulled over, and started doing the anti-Semitic stuff, which is terrible. But he still tried to regrow his career as Mel Gibson.
Years that's been,
and he's basically doing crappy movies. I mean,
he's doing stuff behind the scenes now because that's pretty much all he's like.
Well, he's always been a director producer.
Well, what I'm saying is like that's all that he's able to do at this point because people are like, we don't want to see him in a film.
Which is, and he's
the Expendables.
Like every movie he's ever done in the like Lethal Weapon, Patriot, Braveheart.
They're so good.
Like Mad Max, Beyond Thunderdome. He's never really been a bad actor. Payback, it's a great movie, right? It's a very noir and like dirty movie. And yet all that was basically, he lost his career, he lost his audience because he did something terrible. And your brand is fragile. So
even my grandmother was just like, I don't like that Mel Gibson anymore.
Mel Gibson makes me, he even made a Christian movie.
No, she wouldn't care about that one.
Oh, she wouldn't care about that one?
No, she was all got the hots for Mel Gibson.
You know what? I have the hots for Mel Gibson. But that's my point is your brand is so fragile as your relationship. So you have to put care into them. Don't use people or use their interest and take advantage of it by saying, hey, my movie's coming out, or hey, buy this, buy that. Give them your time. Give them interest in what you're doing, not in the end result, but the process of what you're doing. Let them see your emotional venture as you journey to create your career. There will come a point where you're allowed to say, I'm performing Thursday, come see my show, right? But the thing is, in Marketing 101, when you're starting out to build a brand, it's always about they missed it, right? So FOMO, right? The fear of missing out, right? So if you're doing a show, it's better to say you personally, I'm on my way to the show. I'm excited that we were able to get this gig, right? That's more powerful than saying,
come to my gig.
Yeah, tonight's our show at 7:00 at blank, blank, blank. You should come out to see it. Tickets are still available. First of all, you're killing your brand because you're saying tickets are still available. Nobody wanted to see you, right? But if you take that out of there and it's just like,
you're just like, oh my God, I'm excited that we were able to, put this thing together, put this event together. I'm doing something that I'm passionate about. I have my heart and soul that like I've
all right.
I got excited.
Yeah, I know. Now, by doing that, though, people have the option to interact with and say, oh, you're performing. Where are you performing? And now they created the emotional interest to ask questions. And you can tell that person. Now, if someone reads your status and then looks at the first comment, and they're made the emotional choice to go from the status to the comments, and now you're the person who's stuck reading 100 comments on a subject matter you don't care about. Right?
Because you already made the emotional investment to read the conversation.
Because you made the emotional investment to read the conversation. And that's how marketing works. So you have to focus on FOMO, the fear of missing out. So even after the show, we had a great show. I'm so glad that we were invited to perform with these other bands. Or, I'm proud to say that, for my film to be in the BBR Short Film Festival, it really meant the world to us. I can't wait to submit next year. Right? Now people are like, what did I miss? Oh, you were doing something? And the people that have developed a relationship with you and your brand will make an effort, especially if it's an emotional connection with your brand, make an effort to be a part of that journey and say, I got to keep an eye on this to see what's next.
I mean, I'm feeling emotional already.
I mean, You should. So when you're starting out, it's all about FOMO, fear of missing out. It's all about your emotional adventure, basically how your emotions are being influenced by what you're doing, and trials and tribulations. Let those trials and tribulations be seen socially. Now, you don't have to talk about your personal life. As long as it relates to your field of interest and what you're doing, then let people see your trials and tribulations. Let them see you're conquering your battlefields, as JD might say. Let and just work on persevering, going beyond your failure, because you are better than your failure. You have earned the right to be better than your failure because you keep trying, but people don't care.
This is just a general rule of life.
Oh yeah. When I can't get it up, I'm like, so what?
That's why they got Viagra.
Yeah, but what? I don't take pills. I just cheese graters.
I gotta go.
Anyway, so just keep that in mind. Focus on your abilities. Focus on your trials and tribulations. Focus on FOMO. Things because you have to earn the right again. And when do you know you earned the right? Are you making a living within your field of interest? And do you have 10,000 people interested in your brand? Those are two different levels that really will blow up your career. Once you acknowledge that's happening, you can start doing things slightly different. But you have to earn the right. If you look at your website and your website is so overwhelmed with traffic, you'll see if you're averaging 3,000 or 4,000 views a week, you can start putting stuff on there that's just a little bit more aggressive and trying to sell, right? It's the same thing with YouTube videos, YouTube channels. You don't see YouTube channels starting out and they're like, buy my products. No, they're there. They might be listed, but there's not really a call to action.
They're not pushing.
But once somebody has like 100,000 subscribers, their videos are like, hey, we have merchandise downstairs. And, people are waiting for a shirt that says, I don't make this stuff up, right?
I can't wait till we get our BBR socks.
I already have BBR socks.
What? You've been holding out on me.
Yeah, I brought reality to my dreams.
Oh, man.
Oh. I didn't want to give you socks because after you had your feet amputated, I was like, oh.
I mean, they are robots. It's like...
feet walk. Feet jerk off.
Oh, God. This is terrible.
Oh, my God. Anyway. So that's it. That's it for today. I don't make this stuff up. JD makes up some of it, and the dog makes up probably all of it. Definitely. I would say. And you got to remember, you want to work together, to grow together, to rise together. So find people to work, bring together, and don't work too hard,
but be productive.
Yeah, you got it. And remember, sweaty balls are
the sweaty balls.
You got to use my sweaty balls. Cool Whip. Cool Whip. It's actually Cool Whip. Yeah, that's what I said. I said Cool Whip. Cool Whip.
Say cool. Cool. Say whip. Whip.
Whip.
Cool Whip.
Cool Whip.
Cool Whip.
Cool Whip. Anyway. All right. So I'm Thomas J. Bellezza. This is JD McGibney.
Hi.
You could check his stuff out at makearightlefthehere.com or go to his other website, On the Wings of Dragons, makearightlefthehere.com, which has some great stuff.
Then you can also check out BBR Productions, which has both of us. And then you can go to Make a Right Left on the Wings of Dragons right here.
.com. If you go to onthewingsofdragons.com right now, you will save 100% on anything you don't buy.
That is a fact.
However, you can purchase things like your freedom, which is interesting. You just go to buy a shirt, and then you get to walk around with a shirt.
You can conquer your battlefield in style.
What else you got on there? What do you got on there?
I got a link to the latest Altanian song we did together.
Oh, that's cool.
That's really cool. And
yeah,
then,
and that's free.
That is free.
Yeah, you can listen on Spotify.
The only thing it costs is your time.
That's true.
And potentially half of your soul because it's a Doom song.
Is it a long song?
No, it's a Doom song.
Is it doomy?
Everything you write is doomy.
It's not that doomy.
Even that thing that sounds like it came from the 50s.
After all that is said and well, that song has a doomy part in it. But after all that is said and done, it kind of has like there's a doomy part in the middle.
Doom. So yeah, that's why I said only half your soul.
After all is said and done, you're just the song of anyone.
Funny story.
Is that how it goes? No, I sing it a little.
An album of everyone.
After all is said and done.
Gee.
I can't wait till my mic stuff gets here so I can start recording the second album.
Woohoo!
I think it's about time it gets here. I don't know why it hasn't. I ordered it, $1,200 worth of bull crap, and it keeps saying not in stock. Well, get it in stock.
Those bastards.
Those bastards. JD can't wait because he wants to use my microphone for his vocals for his band.
Yeah, I know. It's gonna be great.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, just
I think I should definitely just set it up
and just have you just waiting there, like, but you show that video.
behind the scenes, recording the vocals. You guys have vocals? No.
No. No.
Oh my god! I should just take the little stuffed dragon that's on the amp and just have him next to the vocal mic.
You know what would be really funny if you took your stuffed dragon and you just put it. Hey, whatever happened to the Call of Cthulhu?
Oh, Cthulhu, he's hanging out upstairs.
Now I noticed.
lazy.
I noticed he got thrown out. Basically,
He's thinking
you're like dragon. Forget Cthulhu.
Cthulhu.
You had him everywhere.
Cool Whip.
Cool Whip. What is it? Cool Whip? No, it's cool. Say cool. Cool Whip. Whip. That's like Cool Whip. Cool Whip.
I could just set everything up so that Cthulhu and
Oh
Steve
my
the
God.
Zombie is downstairs. Listen, my niece named the zombie when she was like 3.
That's fine. That's fine.
Steve the Zombie.
All right. If you, what would be the perfect situation where you enjoyed going down on a man to completion?
I mean, at the moment, I probably would not enjoy that at all.
But what? But I'm asking. You can't change the rules. I'm asking a very listen. Apparently, this is the vice president.
Wait, what?
Like, what's your deal with climate change? I really appreciate that question. You're like, but answer it. Yeah. I can't. Why? Because that's not the answer. I don't want to answer that question.
It doesn't make any sense.
You can't do that. We'll just assume anything will make you happy.
Oh, I mean, I am pretty easily entertained and made happy.
Have you ever thought about making love to a man?
No,
So what you're saying is you are a closeted homosexual.
that doesn't make any sense.
I think it does.
No, because if that were the case, the idea would have had to pop into my head, and I would have been like, "Oh, my
What
God,
idea?
to make love to a man."
See, I'm gonna edit this later. So JD says, to make love to a man popped into my head. That's why I'm in the closet. Just take out not.
Where's our?
What
What do we
other-
get inside a
Hey,
closet?
can you read this sheet of words? Let's see.
The
No. Homo sapien. Sexual. I am. Cats. Weird dog situation.
tacos.
Tacos.
What is the taco that you don't want to know?
Women. Hate. Never. Stay away. Penis.
The final
Open
edit,
mouth.
The final edit is just me doing the Gettysburg Address.
Oh
somehow.
my God. Why do you want me to say these words with stops? I just need you. Hat.
4 and 7 years. Why do I sound like Sean Connery?
4 and 7 years ago, I played a dragon named Draco.
I am the last of my kind.
Last of my kind. Dennis Quaid and
Sean Connery
Sean Connery. The best part of that whole movie
is that movie.
when like he opens his mouth and he's stuck in it, and he's like, could you I have something stuck in my teeth. And he takes like an arm out. He's like, oh my God. He's like, let's make it. I think we should do a truce. That movie is really good. Then they made a second, a third, and I think there's a fourth one now.
Oh God,
Anyway, we got to get out of here.
we don't make this stuff up.
Yeah, we don't make this stuff. I know I don't make this stuff up.
I make up some of it.
Yeah, and the dog makes up at least,
All 100.
I would say 100% of it. Make a right left here on the Wings of Dragon, BBR Productions. Check us out. Don't work too hard.
Be productive.
All right, bye.
Click.
Love you.